The other day I made a video called Things I Know to Be True, talking about some of my personal experiences and various phenomena that I've personally engaged with. Today I'd like to talk about things I suspect to be true. So get in here, this is Jack with Cosmic Road. I'll talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like and subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, this is going to be a quick video and I'm not going to talk about, generalities that I don't have any experience with. I'm not going to talk about giants or anything like that that I suspect to be true. That's what the evidence says. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm talking about the implications of some of the things that I mentioned the other day that I have had direct involvement with, particularly the different modalities that exist for some of this stuff. Now, implications of modalities, not a super sexy title. So how about this? I think there are beings that are working with us and helping us. And here's how I got there. Okay. First of all, Reiki. It's the one that I have the most experience with and that I know the most about. Hands-on healing energy. You're channeling the chi, the ki, the prana, the vril, whatever you want to call it. The force. You're channeling the force into healing. And I think the force can be applied to different things as well. But that's what Reiki is. You're channeling it into healing. And it's a very specific way of harnessing this energy and applying this energy. It involves attunements, symbols. It's a very specific modality for healing. But it's not the only modality. And that's where things get spicy. Okay, why is it spicy? Okay, so let's think about it. All right, so there's different modalities. I came across a Christian healer not too long ago who applies basically the exact same Reiki principles, but in different ways, even chakras. She didn't call them chakras. I want to say they were like the rungs on Jacob's ladder or something like that. But they were the chakras. They corresponded exactly to the chakras. And there's various other healing modalities as well. There's Qigong. I've had some experience practicing and learning Qigong healing techniques, stuff like that. So there's different modalities. When I was talking to Daz Smith the other day, the remote viewer Daz Smith, they remote viewed basically the founding of Reiki, when the founder of Reiki, of modern understanding of Reiki anyway, when he received this download of information and this massive download of energy. And he and the other remote viewers that were seeing this anyway, were seeing UFOs. And this corresponds to a friend of mine who believes that he is in touch with the Arcturians, and he believes there is some Arcturian technology or learning something involving Reiki, that somehow that they are involved somehow. So I think what the specific protocols of Reiki indicate, that modality of this general phenomenon, this general ability that we can all do, because we all have this ability, we can all tap into chi. The force is everywhere, right? And we can all do this. But the specific modality of Reiki involving the symbols and attunements, that seems to be something that was developed for us to use by higher beings, by higher dimensional beings, whatever they are. If they're Arcturians, I don't know. But I think that it indicates that there is this general thing that we can all tap into. And there is a specific method for tapping into it that was developed by some beings and granted to us. Okay, so that's one down. All right, so then we go into Kundalini awakenings. Now, the Kundalini awakening is really a specific thing. It's the Hindu thing. It pulses up the spine, going into seizures, all that. That's what I experienced. But a lot of people use Kundalini awakenings to refer to any enlightenment modality. I think that's unfortunate that we don't have multiple names, multiple terms for these different modalities of awakenings and of enlightenment. Now, when I was speaking with my acupuncturist after I had my experience, he told me about his experience. And he experienced a heat that developed in his lower belly and rose up through his chakras out of the crown of his head. And then he had an enlightenment event. So in mine, it was energy going up my spine. It was pulses going up my spine. I went into seizures. and it lasted for 5 hours. The seizures doesn't sound great, but it was great. It was an amazing experience. The most amazing experience that I've ever had, as far as physically. Anyway, I'm not going to get into all that, but you have two different modalities there of the energy rising through the body and having an enlightenment event. I don't feel enlightened. I never had quite that experience, but I experienced the Kundalini awakening. And what does this mean? That there are two distinct modalities, and there are others, because I've heard plenty of other people who have had enlightenment experiences. But I think it's very interesting that we have the two different modalities of the energy rising and this event happening. So does that mean that there is a general phenomenon that is happening, or that could happen for people with the energy rising and having these experiences? But maybe different beings, let's just say one group of beings developed the Kundalini awakening process and taught people how to utilize it because of some, there's factors in the human physiology and how their energy goes up the spine, or, the fluid, whatever it is. There was a process that could be developed for achieving this experience. And, there's Kundalini yoga. I know some people who have been doing Kundalini yoga for 30 years and haven't had an awakening. I don't know how reliable that is, but I think it's probably a good way to get the energy moving, the Kundalini energy moving, whether, it's reliably produces a Kundalini awakening or not. Either way, Kundalini is, thought to be more of a Hindu tradition, although there are, to my understanding, traditions of Buddhism and even of Islam that do practice Kundalini awakenings. That is part of their tradition, at least is my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong. But because it is such a very specific practice, such a very specific event with going up the spine and everything, clearly differentiated from other modalities, for example, energy in the belly going up through the chakras in that way, makes me think of Reiki and the very specific modalities that may have been developed for hands-on healing, or even remote healing, that may have been developed by beings. So could there be a group of beings that developed a system for having an awakening modality, by way of the spine, as in Kundalini awakenings? I think that's possible. I think that's entirely possible. So there's two possible modalities, and you can see the differences in the various modalities in those phenomena. Okay, so then there is DMT and ayahuasca. All right, so bear with me. All right, so in ayahuasca, my first shaman, told me that the gods had granted humans ayahuasca. The gods were on the earth, and then when they left, the people said, well, what will we do without you? And the gods said, here. And they gave them ayahuasca. And that was a way to connect to the higher planes, to the gods. Is that really what happened? Were those gods aliens? Were they higher dimensionals? Obviously impossible to say. But that seems to be a gift of this contact modality, which is, I don't want to, I have a lot of respect for ayahuasca. I have a lot of love for ayahuasca. I don't understand it. Is contact modality the right way to look at it? Is there a spirit or a group of spirits that are guardian spirits of this sacred plant medicine? I don't know. But let's just say contact modality for the moment. Whatever it is, there are other ways to produce this experience, also seemingly gifted by beings. So one such example that I know of, personally, I haven't done it, but I'm the co-founder of my local UFO group. It used to be a MUFON group until we broke away. My co-founder, she is really involved in Native American spiritual practices, and she travels all over the country multiple times a year, engaging with this group and learning their techniques. And she's helped, interact with portals, for example. One time, Matthias DeStefano showed up and assisted them interacting with one of these portals, and they kind of had a difference of opinion, the Native Americans and Matthias, about what to do with that portal. Very, very interesting. I don't know if that's my story to tell, but very interesting experience. Anyway, so that's some of the things she does. So one time she went up to learn Hopi breath work. Now this is where it gets interesting, because the Hopis, who I believe had contact and may still have contact, but they're very well known for possibly having contact with the ant people. And there are other signs that I see among the Hopi as well, that they've had contact with beings. Well, the Hopi have a breathwork tradition that produces DMT. It takes hours of this very intensive breath work. It's very non-intuitive breath work. I've tried to do it, but she hasn't really taught me how to do it. But she's taught me a few things and shown me some videos. But yeah, it's very non-intuitive breath work. Again, it takes hours. It's very involved, and it's really, you need to be led by a shaman or somebody. But after you do this, while you're in the throes of it, it produces DMT, or rather it stimulates your pineal gland to produce DMT. And it can provide experiences similar, not exactly, but similar to ayahuasca or smoking DMT. So these are two modalities of contact, if we're going to call it that, that were likely given to humans by beings. Higher beings, aliens, spirit guides, whatever they are. So those are three different examples that, I've had personal experience or some personal experience with, of different modalities of things that are general things in a way. Contact, healing, awakenings. And there seems to have been different specific modalities that were created for achieving those things. And there is at least some evidence to suggest that non-humans helped create those modalities. I think that's very exciting, guys. I think that's super exciting. That means there are beings that are trying to help us, that are assisting us in healing, in contact, in awakening. I think that's super exciting. That is super encouraging. And I just wanted to share those thoughts with you. So let me know what you think about that in the comments below. And please share your own experiences with all of this and your own thoughts on all of this. So yeah, in the comments below, thumbs up, smash the like button and the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future videos. There's plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with the Cosmic Road, signing out.